Good morning. It is 10 o'clock in the morning, Sunday, here in Texas, and it's time for another Salty Texas woodworking project. So what are we doing today? We're doing beads, wooden beads, all kinds of beads, colorful beads. And we've got a small bowl and some scrap wood, and we're going to get started on this project this morning. So this bowl isn't very large because these beads are super expensive. They're like $3 a package at Hobby Lobby. And I should have ordered them on Amazon. Probably could have got a lot more. So this was just an experimental kind of thing. I've never done a wooden beaded bowl before. Have this real small little bowl, and decided, you know what are we gonna make out of it? So basically, what we did was take two of these packages, fill up the sides, and pour some epoxy in it, and just see what we could get. I'm excited. This project turned out really well, even though it's really small. I really liked it. So you see here where it got the setup, waste block is in the middle, beads are on the side, a lot of cool colors in this one. Taking the hot glue gun, gonna put that top layer of wooden blank on it so we can attach a waste block a little bit later. Got that all poured in nice and neat. And I still have not learned my lesson about pouring epoxy on top of that wooden plate. I put the wooden plate on there because a lot of the times when you put stuff in epoxy, you get, the material will sometimes float. And I was worried about it floating on the top, which it did and which it will. However, pouring the epoxy on the sides of those small, thin little sides, makes it a little bit more difficult to do. So this took a little bit while. And we're using East Coast resin on this project, and no dye, no color. It's just crystal clear, as you saw from the thumbnail. And 4.5 hours in the pressure pot. Here we are. And I made this project in I made this project back in March, mid-March, right before St. Patrick's Day, or a little bit before. I think I give the date at the end. And here we are out of the pressure pot. Real cool, clear casting. You can see all the cool colors in that crystal clear resin. Really happy with that product. East Coast Resin, not sponsored. Maybe I can get a sponsorship someday. And here it is outside of the mold itself. You can see here, very crystal clear setup, very beautiful. Didn't pour enough epoxy in it apparently, but we have enough material here to work with, so I'm excited about getting this on the lathe and getting it worked down into a little bowl. Surprisingly, this took just as long as a larger bowl. A lot of fine detail work went into this one. So here we are, got it all hooked up, attached up, putting that waste block like we usually do, getting it super glued, not super glue, I keep saying super glue. Hot glued gunned on, attach that, and then we're going to attach the face plate and get everything hooked up and attached. And I was surprised that the face plate didn't crack on this one. Usually these thinner ones, when I don't pour enough epoxy on the top, a lot of the times it doesn't like to adhese and I'll get a lot of spin off. But went on to the lathe pretty good. And I'm thinking this project's going to take me maybe an hour. It only took me one day to finish it after I got it out of the pressure pot. But looking pretty good. And we're starting with the round carbide tool this time. So usually I'll use like the bowl gouge to kind of rough out the sides of larger bowl blanks. But on this one, I didn't have to do that. It was small enough material where I felt comfortable just go ahead and hitting it with the round carbide tool, as you see there, getting a lot of good shavings. No chip out, which was really exciting. Because I absolutely hate when it chips out on me. That's one of the benefits of doing some of these smaller projects. They tend to go a lot easier. You don't have as many complications, and you don't get a lot of shaking or wobbling on the lathe. And you can see here, the lathe is very stable, not getting any kind of dancing or movement on it. And that's pretty much this. I would say this size of a bowl blank is probably what the MIDI lathe was designed for. It probably wasn't designed for a lot of the larger projects that I do. But my goal is to burn the hell out of that motor and then buy a new standing lathe. So this makes it a lot easier. It was a fun project because it turned out really well, and I didn't have to, man grab the lathe from falling off the table. And my dog is making an appearance while I do this commentary, by the way. Hi, Murphy. Say hello. Maybe you can hear her in the background sniffing at the microphone. But anyway, so back to the project. So once we got the smoothed out the bottom, now we're just getting the mortise built so we can put the chuck on it and reverse it onto the lathe. And this part went relatively smooth, didn't have any issues with that. Once I got it to the size that I wanted, now I'm just rounding out the bottom edge of the bowl. And here comes my favorite part, beating the hell out of the blank and getting the waste block taken off real nice and easy with this. I gotta sharpen this thing. It's crazy dull, but this is actually pretty easy to do. I'm trying to save money here so I can buy that new standing lathe. So once we got this pried off, then we just reversed it in the chuck. Came off nice and smooth. Got it reversed, and now we're just working the upper portion and the lip of the bowl. And since I didn't have enough epoxy, I had to take a lot of time getting that top wooden plate that I put on there. I took a lot of time having to get that material off, which was kind of a pain and kind of defeated the whole purpose of having a waste block and a faceplate attachment. But it went pretty easy. Material came off real nice and smooth, and here I am just hitting it with that square carbide tool and switching back and forth between the round and the square carbide chisels. So this went relatively easy, and it came off pretty quick, but it took a little bit of time to get that done. So here we are. We're about to get everything done, and this is right before we start the actual gouging part of our project. And that pine board in the middle is coming down real nice and smooth. You see a lot of detail work going into that, and that popped off. That was intentional, totally intentional. And now we got the surface nice and smoothed out, and we can begin to gouge. And I had already started to gouge it, but for some reason I didn't hit record. I'm not a very good YouTuber, I'm sorry. You guys are probably watching this in late July or early August. My apologies that my camera work has not gotten any better. I'm trying, I'm working on it. Anyway, so once we got that done, we switched from the round carbide tool head into the bowl gouge itself. And for some reason I was a little bit aggravated with the inability to gouge out these smaller bowls. And it was because the way I set up the waste block, going against the grain makes it a lot more difficult when gouging out bowls like that, because you get a lot of chatter on the chisels a lot of the time when you go against the grain, or there's a multitude of grains that you have to try to get through. So switching it up between the square, the round, and the actual bowl gouge itself. And by this time we've gotten to the depth that we want, and now we're just working the edges of it a little bit, getting that nice round bottom that I like, making sure everything is nice and even. And I really thought on this one I was going to hit the bottom of the mortise and break through, but luckily we didn't. I just wanted everything to be nice and even, and sometimes on the middle part, if you don't gouge out properly, you'll get a little bit of a hump in there. So went pretty smooth once we got the sides worked out and figured out the depth. So then we came back, hit it with the sanding that I absolutely love, as I always say, going from 340 all the way up to the micro mesh pads, as we'll do here. We did a little bit of wet sanding here at the end, and it was the wooden beads, so it didn't come out as shiny. Initially when you put the wood wax on it, it'll turn out really good, as you'll see here in a little bit. But once we did that, everything's nice and smooth as the baby's bottom. And now we're just going to hit it with that wood wax. You can see the beads really pop once we put the wax on there. Looks absolutely stunning, absolutely beautiful. And FYI, if you're interested, you can follow me on Instagram. I am Salty Texas. I post a lot of these projects before they come out, so just FYI if you're interested, because I backdate a lot of these projects. So in case you just want to know what I'm up to, check me out on Instagram at Salty Texas, same as the YouTube channel. And I'm also on TikTok, same handle, Salty Texas. So here we are, got everything nice and polished up. Everything's looking absolutely beautiful. And overall, this project turned out pretty well. It's a smaller bowl. I hope to do a larger beaded project like this in the future. Something more substantial for sure. So, hope you guys enjoyed the project. Here we are at the end. Crystal clear. You can really see that bead work. Looks absolutely stunning. Absolutely beautiful. Hope you guys are enjoying the project. Hope everybody's having a great summer. Hope everybody's staying safe. Hope everybody's out there creating. And don't forget to subscribe. Trying to get to 1,000 subs before the end of the year. If you guys could help me out with that, like the video, all that good stuff that every other YouTuber always says. So here we are at the end of the project. I did this one at night, so I wasn't able to show it in the sun, but here it is, finished project. And I'll see you guys in the next project. Peace. Alright, so project is done. Here we are. This little beaded bowl that gave me so many problems looks absolutely beautiful. And I'm sad it's not bigger. I think I'm going to do a larger bowl when, I don't know. These beads are super expensive. They're like $3 or $4 for a package of these. So this is 2 of them. It would be so awesome to do a larger bowl, and I might do that in the future. But wow, it looks absolutely beautiful, and I'm really happy the way it turned out. Gave me a little bit of problems during the part where we're gouging it out, but overall, really happy the way this thing turned out. Absolutely stunning, absolutely beautiful. Love the colors in there. It's always fun when we do these colored projects. It's just a different type of project when you have all of these cool colors to look at. So hope you guys got something out of it. Hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to subscribe. Today is March the 9th. You guys are probably going to watch this in July. Hope everybody's having a good summer. And I will see you guys in the next project. Don't forget to subscribe. Trying to get to 1,000 before the end of the year. All right. Peace. Bye.